Hi everyone, so today's video is about looking at a question where you're looking at two sets of outcomes and then finding probabilities from them. So in this question it says that two fair six-sided dice are rolled. So if you imagine you're going to roll two dice at the same time, okay? It says then, and this is the key part that you need to look out for, the number on the two dice are added together. So this word added is really important. So if you imagine you get two dice, you throw them, whatever you see in front of you, whatever they land on, you're going to add those two numbers together, and then that's going to give you a score. Okay, so this table shows all the possible scores that there could be. So if you imagine, if you roll dice, when you roll, dice number 1 could be showing a 1, and so could dice number 2. So you would add the score together to give you the answer, the score of 2. Makes sense? So if I threw them and I got a 4 on one and a 5 on another, so I got 4 on dice 1, 5 on dice 2, my total is 9. I think in another question you might be asked to fill in one of these, so hopefully that makes sense. Just make sure you read what it says in the question. Sometimes it says multiply. It might say use the word product. It might use the word total. So total would be to add, product is to multiply. So make sure you know the difference. So it says here, which score is the most likely? So what score is the most likely score I'm going to get? Well, looking at this, you should be able to spot straight away that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chances of getting a 7. There isn't that many chances of getting any other number. So the score that's most likely is 7. Okay, which scores, now this is key, there are obviously 2 of them, are the least likely? So which have the least chance of getting? Well, it's the ones that are the least in here, which is a 2 and 12. So 2 and 12, because there's only one chance of getting a 12 and one chance of getting a 2. Okay, so now we're going to look at writing down probabilities. So in these questions, I want you to use fractions. Okay, you don't need to worry about cancelling down or anything like that. It literally is how many of them are there out of how many altogether. So it wants us to write down the probability of scoring a 3. So all I do is I don't look at the numbers on the outside. I look at the numbers inside my grid. So I've got a 3 here and a 3 here. So I've got 2. So that would be the top number of my fractions, so the numerator. Out of, well, how many numbers are in this grid altogether? Well, it's 6 by 6, and 6 sixes are 36. So I know that there's a 2 in 36 chance of me getting a score of 3. So for all of these types of questions now, they're going to be out of 36. So we just need to figure out how many there are of each of them. So for part 2, what's the probability of scoring a 5? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. So it's 4 over 36. What's the probability of getting a 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 out of 36. And the last one for this part of the question is what's the score of getting a 7? Well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 36. Okay, so now we're going to do something similar, except it's just the wording of the question, the types of numbers we've got to find. So write down the probability of scoring a number over 10. It doesn't say it includes 10, so it's more than 10. So it's just 11 and 12. So there's 3 of those. So it's 3 and it's still out of 36. That hasn't changed. Okay, a score under 7, that doesn't include 7, so it's 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 out of 36. Okay, part 3 for that one. What's the probability of scoring a number that's 4 or less? So this time it includes 4. Okay, so it's 4 or less. So it's these numbers here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 36. And the last part to this one, 6 or more. So it's all the 6s and everything above it. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Did I count that wrong then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So 26 out of 36. Okay. Part E then. We'll write down the probability of scoring an odd number. So remember, an odd number is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay, so they're all your odds. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 out of 36. Okay, a squared number. Now, can you remember what your squared numbers are? So your squared numbers are 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared. So what are the answers to these? Well, 1 squared, it means multiplying by itself. So 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 5 is 25. So these are our squared numbers. So how many of them are there? I haven't got any 1s. I've got some 4s. So I've got 1, 2, 3. And I've got some 9s. 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't have any other squared numbers there. So it's 7 out of 36. Okay, and the last part is a prime number. So remember, a prime number is a number that can only be divided by itself and 1, or I now remember explain it to you in the sense that it's got to have 2 factors, so 1 is not a prime number. So your prime numbers are 2, 3, remember 4 isn't a prime number because it can be divided by 2, 5, 6 isn't, 7, 8 isn't, 9 isn't, 10 isn't, 11. We don't need to go any higher than that because we know that 12 isn't. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 out of 36. Have a go at the questions that I've set for you now.